So yeah, they're getting there. It's getting better. And now they're winning jobs against firms that are like 5 times their size, like Moen and Kohler, right? Huge companies. So I'll shut up there. I'm not trying to like, that's just, if you tell me that, oh, it's complex, I'm like, yeah, you always break it down. The information is being added in every day, and then we can take a look whenever we want. So we got to populate, like you got to have enough volume to figure out what once you play 5 hours of poker, you know how good you are. So they're playing several hours of poker, and then we'll see how good they are. But if you look at your business, I mean, all the different referral leads and all that stuff, and different groups, like, there's lots of disruption in the align. I don't know if you do aligners. So your market's being disrupted by the online guys doing the direct-to-consumer aligners, right? It's becoming pretty popular for the business. So, questions? So how many of you in your organization have, I mean, it may not obviously be that detailed, but how many of you are at least doing basic tracking on conversion? What issues are you guys having now? Does this help address it? Where are you hitting roadblocks and that prevents you from getting the measurement you want? Do you have buy-in from your leadership, your direct managers on this type of stuff?
That's the challenge that I personally have been experiencing. Now I work at UDC, but they have their own ways of doing things and trying to change the way they think. But that's a roadblock.
One of the things like in our MBA program is like, why, if no one had ever linked the recruiting with the Business Career Center in terms of what students get placed or not placed. Why do we keep going to certain parts of the world to get students when we don't have success in helping them get jobs? And we've stopped recruiting. It's not so much country, but it's like there's certain job fairs. Like we recruit out of this year's class of 95 students. What were all the recruiting activities that generated that class? And like just last Friday, I was in China for 5 days, flew home, went to Toronto, and I gave a talk last Thursday night to recruit MBA students. And we'll know from that event how many of those people actually end up enrolling in the program. Do they come? How do they do? And the problem there is it takes 20 months to close the loop. But Darren Dow has done that. His predecessor did have the two things separate. It just didn't make sense. But yeah, there's norms, right? But at the end of the day, there's some CRM system in place that someone had agreed to, and there was a budget for it. And, there's oftentimes rigidity around that. The nice thing was they were going through a new ERP system and a new CRM. All that stuff had to be redone anyway. And they made a big decision. Like we were 3 or 4 months into this project, and they're like, let's just put the CRM shit on hold. There's no sense implementing that if when we finalize this, it's going to change the CRM. It's going to be a ton of work for nothing. It's a fool's errand. So Vivian shut the thing down and be like, okay, we're just going to put it on hold. The subway line project is more important. That was a key decision. And they spent, they stopped. And they've got a really good IT guy named Ben who's in all our meetings because your information architecture guy has a seat at the table. Because the IT system has to be able to capture all that. And he gets it. He's like, no problem. We can create a matrix of all the information. Our real fear was, is it too onerous for the sales force? Because they're like, I gotta do all this data entry. But we're like, reality is, you're playing a lot of hands that you should be full in. And that's a waste of time and resources. And if we put this time in now, a year from now, everyone's gonna make more money, higher commissions, and work less hard. So that's how you get the buy-in. Everyone wants to win. But it makes no sense to keep playing poker the same way, not knowing what our win percentage are. That's how poker players get better. They do a decision rule evaluation. Out of all the times I went all in on a 2-7 offsuit, how many did I win? Probability is pretty low. My friend Jane doesn't know that, so I love playing this. I suck at poker, but still, something like that I should get there. He always loves to chase the flush and straight draws. It's just like bet high early, you'll just blindly match. You probably won't win. Move the pot up. Great. Now I fund the happy hour. Alrighty. I don't think there's anything else in my agenda. Those are the main things. But essentially, there's two maps, right? There's mapping the decision-making journey, which is really about stakeholder and insights of your customers. But then there's mapping the conversion of your sales process. And your sales process has to be responsive to what the mapping of the decision-making journey is, the path to purchase. The sales process should be a function of the path to purchase. And we should be responsive to it. So now we have a system that will learn, which means that the organization will always be in a position to measure and adjust. So in a nutshell, this was about a CEO who had a mentality of dead end, had thankfully not been a naive optimist, was not naive, and was heavily motivated to move us here. So we've spent 18 months getting to here. Now we're just in a observation phase, and then by July we'll be able to measure and then make adjustments, and we'll iterate the shit that works and stop doing the things that don't work, and they should become a lot more profitable. It was a lot of work, but everyone's going to work hard anyway. Just don't waste your time being naive. Well, payback will be good. All right, let's go. If you want to go home. Questions? No? Too much?
No.